Hello, all my merry makers. I am Becca, and welcome to Bookmark Monday. To all my oldies and goodies who keep on coming back to this segment, thank you very much. For anybody new here, welcome. Bookmark Monday is now my weekly video where we take a pattern source and we go through it, and I tell you which patterns I would do if I had the time. So, we have been doing cute critters, but then I found this, as I've been expecting it for a long time. I decided to do We Now Interrupt This Broadcast. But I wanted to do it more like the book, where I pick a pattern from each section. Now, you and I both know that these usually include filet crochet patterns, which I usually avoid like the plague because I don't do tiny lace and I don't do tiny crochet hooks. But we can all dream our dream of what if. But he was even more crazier than she ever already is and decided to do a filet crochet project. Okay? So that being said, we're going to open up this Crochet World Magazine. This is supposed to be on display until October 26, 2026. So that's it came out autumn. It just says autumn. There we go, autumn. Which is why I wanted to do this segment here. So you could kind of see what's inside the crochet book or the crochet magazine without having to purchase it. That way you could decide whether or not you wanted to purchase it yourself. Now there's always a lot of ads. I skip over them. There is usually also a article that I skip over. I might mention what's mentioned in that article, but I do all of that, and I only show you like the picture from the project, like from the one from the front of the magazine, and that's all just to protect myself from copyright infringement. I know I don't have a very big channel, but just in case somebody gets offended, they don't have a lot of ammo. That being said, let's go, Joe. All right. And of course, the first one is right up my alley. This is called The Bag of Many Colors. It is a verified stash buster. Now, it recommends a 3-weight yarn. It does say acrylic specified. There's other things in here, but it also says 2 plastic canvas sheets. I'm gonna guess that's to go inside the larger panels to help with stretching, because even acrylic will stretch. This might be a good pattern to do. Number one, I love to make colorful things like this. Number two, it's a stash buster, and as you all know, I've been going through my stash, trying to figure out what yarn I'm going to keep and what yarn is not going to be kept. More on that on Thursday. And of course, you can choose whatever colors you want. So if you are trying to match a certain outfit, you can. And it does look like there are different stitches used as well, so that's kind of neat. I think this section is called Just for Fun, if I'm looking at this top. So this is called Witch Jar Topper. This is so it says that it's a scrap buster and that it's quick to make. It suggests using a 4-weight worsted. It specifically says Red Heart Super Saver, but we all know that, you know, if we're doing this for the scrap buster or the quick bank, we're using what's in our stash that looks like, you know, a witch. This reminds me of those dolls. I they're not really dolls, they're like half dolls that people like put on top of their toilet paper, and then like the doll has a dress and then that goes over the toilet paper and that goes on the back of the toilet to kind of like protect the toilet paper, I guess. That's what that's what it reminds me of. And you could totally add onto it like a little black dress. It would be very easy to do and make it into a toilet topper, a toilet paper topper. I think that's what they're called. I think they're called toilet paper toppers. That was random. That was random. Oh, that's it for the just for fun. Um, hmm. Okay. So these are okay. I somehow missed one. Ooh, ooh. I have been looking for something like this. This is definitely getting a sticker. This is not separated into sections like my books are, so everything's getting thrown out the window. Okay, just bear with me. But I have been looking exactly for something like this, and I'm very excited about this. This is called Beginner Tool Pouch. And I don't know about you, but sometimes finding a thing that's a design that we actually like and enjoy. Sometimes I love this one because it's colorful lambs, adorable. For all our accessories and hooks, and for me needles and cables, is hard. So I can definitely see me, and I forgot to get my. There they are, right where they belong. I love that I reorganized my area so that everything's easy to find. Um, anyway, this is getting a sticker. I don't know what yarn. Oh, how much yarn does it use? It says lightweight 3, 1 skein. Okay, so I'm putting a sticker on it. I'll figure out how much yarn it uses, and then I'll try to find yarn that I like to make this. It doesn't have to be striped, but mine probably will be because I have lots of color changing yarn. So all right, going. Then we've got Bavarian fingerless gloves and mittens. That's kind of pretty. Now I think the yarn is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Let's see. Coleage Riveting Sport. Um, Actually, they do not use color changing yarn. They use 3 different colors of yarn, and those are Catherine wheels. I'm gonna pause 1 second. My phone is going crazy. All right, no one's done. It's more like a slouchy hat. It's more for fashion than it is for warmth. But I do like it. I do like it a lot. I could see about making something like that. Um, let's see. It says for the beanie. Well, it doesn't give a size for the finished size for the. Oh, there it is. Okay, so for the gloves, finished size is 7.5 inches long and 8 inches in circumference. So that will fit most people. And then for the beanie, it says 21 head circumference. So that's not as stretchy, but it is very slouchy. Then there's a tutorial, and in here it says how to 2x2 crochet, and it's basically how to do color work. And then this is the project associated with that. Cozy Cables ear warmer. Let's see. Skill level intermediate. It calls for sock weight yarn, but I think, yeah, one strand of each color, so is held together. So it calls for a size F or a 3.75 millimeter hook. So I feel like that would not be too hard. Oh, we're in the thread part. We're in the thread part. Just threads. Here we go. This one is called Golden Autumn Doilies. And let me see if I can find a good picture without showing you too much. Some pineapple stitches. Those are nice and simple. I actually noticed that my mom didn't have coasters and almost asked her if she would want some. I don't know if that kind of style would be up her alley though. This is called Autumn Acorns Doily. And you can see kind of in the corners how it kind of looks like an acorn, so that's kind of cool. It's autumn without being autumn. This is called Pumpkin Center Doily. This looks nice and simple. The only thing that makes it a pumpkin is that the center here is orange and it's got a little green stem. So it, you could very well take that part off. It does say cotton thread lace weight. That just I think I found what I would make. The Boo Filet Crochet Table Runner. They did it in black. I hope you can see there's a ghost there and it says Boo. Oh man. Again, I normally don't do filet crochet, but I told myself if there was one that stood out to me, I would mark it, and that one stands out to me, so it gets thicker. I don't know if I would do it in black, because again, that's kind of hard to see. I would do it like maybe in purple, a nice deep purple, or maybe a variegated. I don't know. I don't know if filet crochet works as well with variegated thread. That would be something to maybe experiment with a little bit. Right after I learned how to do it. All right. Now we're into decor. And this is called the Harvest Moon Owl. The owl in my other book is cuter. But this one does have more size appropriate eyes, but they are made out of buttons. I'm not sure about the wings being fluffed out like that. I mean, I know owls fly, but that just looks weird to me. It almost looks fish-like. Come on. I don't know if that's a better picture or not, but it's a bigger picture. Still looks like a fish to me. And I don't know, does this look like a snowflake to anybody else? I'm not ready for snow yet. Now we're at the one from the front of the magazine, the No Mall hanging. Let's take a look. It is intermediate, and it calls for a worsted weight. If you wanted to do something for your front door that wasn't a wreath, I could totally see something like that. Gnomes are really popular for some people. Not me. That is not my thing. Then you've got Thankful Gingham Table Runner. I don't know if you can read that, but it says thankful. So you've got like a mosaic, and then on top of it, you've got the cross stitch. So if you just wanted to make the gingham table runner without the words, you could. And for me, if I were to make it, I probably would. Or I'd pick a higher contrast just to make it a little bit easier to read. A brighter orange, maybe. That would definitely take a little playing around with. And then, of course, there's a chart. All right. Ooh. This is called Textured Fall Towel. And it looks like there's a design for the front and a design on the back. That's kind of cool. Its skill level is intermediate, 12 inches by 18 inches. So it is definitely a like a hand towel. It does call for a 3-weight cotton. And those are just it doesn't look too difficult to me, but then again, I've done something similar in the past. So, but again, if those having textures on your towel is not for you, you could always leave them off. I'm sure there are instructions on how to leave them off. It's my nemesis. Every year, I'm gonna make something turkey related. Every year I don't because I run out of time. Look at that. It's a hot pad, also known as a trivet. It's adorable. And that actually looks like a turkey. That actually looks like a turkey. And I don't know about you, but for Thanksgiving, one of the things we do is we watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I would do a turkey, and I would try to do a peacock. That's just me. It does call for worsted weight cotton yarn. It needs to be cotton. Please don't use acrylic for your hot pads. They will melt. I have had experience with this. They will melt, and they will adhere to the pan or whatever is too hot. Don't do it. Use cotton. Now we're in a section called Lush Cables. One is a cabled washcloth. Now it does call for a worsted cotton yarn. It says it makes an 8-inch square, skill level intermediate. I've got some cotton yarn. That might be but it's the variegated cotton yarn. That's what I have available at my disposal right now. So I'm not sure how well those cables would show up. Because when you have cables like that, they're either for show or they're for function. And I don't know. I don't know how that would feel on your face. I've got a washcloth. I'm using it on my face. And then for contrast, we've got the braided cable scarf. Okay, I hope you can see that there is something like some design. What they chose does not have very good stitch definition. Skill level is intermediate. It calls for a bulky acrylic. I definitely would not choose the bulky acrylic they chose. That is not my style. We'll just be nice and leave it at that. This is called the Cable Corners Afghan. Looks like they took 4 separate things and like mushed them, not mushed them, but sewed them together. What's the skill level on that? Let's take a look. Advanced. So that makes sense. Let's see. The finished measurements are 48 inches wide to 60 inches long, so that's not a small blanket. Does call for a 4-weight acrylic yarn and a size 10.5 or 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. That would definitely be a hard pass, I think, for me. Just because, again, that looks like it's very time consuming. Well, this isn't a very good picture, but it says oversized cable cardigan. I think that's the cable they're talking about. So it's more of like a raglan top. Let's see. The bust goes from 52 to 50. So the bust measurements are 52, 59, and 63, with the length being 23, 25, and 27. So this is definitely a loose-fitting cardigan, even for us bigger gals. It does call for a 5-weight acrylic yarn, or, I mean, it doesn't have to be acrylic, it can be any yarn. Size is, our skill level is intermediate. Let me see if there's another picture of it. Yeah. So definitely a little bit more on the basic side, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I actually might use this for the cardigan that I want to make my husband. It would be easy to add stripes. I don't know. I don't know about that raglan shaping plus cables. It looks weird to me. It looks weird to me. Trying to get to the next one, which is also a sweater, apparently. This is cabled raglan pullover. So this also has raglan sleeves, but the cable's in a different place. And it's a pullover instead of a cardigan. I could actually see making this. I cannot begin to tell you how many sweaters quantity worth of yarn that I have. And I could totally make this. Calls for bulky weight 5. Chest measurements are a little bit more varied this time. We start at 34 and go all the way up to 58. The length starts at 19 and goes all the way up to 23. So a little bit more form-fitting. Definitely see making this one over the other one. Don't know how I feel about how... I mean, maybe it's just because I'm more conscientious about things that draw attention to this area. But still a maybe. Still a maybe. And then this is called the Golden Hour Poncho. I don't know that you can see. There is some subtle cable work here. That's an awful... They've chosen an awful color. I'm looking at it in real life and I can barely see it. So of course my camera's not going to pick it up. Skill level is intermediate. It calls for a 4-weight yarn. The width available, so the widths given are 34, 40, and 46 inches. I think that's from, like, if you're laying it flat. And then the length is 24 inches. And I think that, again, that's just one side of one panel. Here's another picture. I don't know that it's any better. Can you see the cables? Let's see if turning off the light helps. Nope, turning off the light does not help. Alright, I'm sorry that you guys can't see that. It's kind of Celtic looking, and I think that's why they chose the green. But for picture availability, it does not do it any favors. Now we're into ripple afghans, which I love myself a ripple afghan, so I'll probably be marking one of these. So this is called Wild Roses Rippled Afghan. Looks nice, looks pretty basic. If you didn't want to include the flowers, you could just skip that step. Yeah, let's see. Skill level is advanced. I think that's just because of the flowers. Like, without giving anything away, the rest of the pattern is mostly double crochet. It does call for quite a bit of 4-weight acrylic yarn, is their suggestion. Of course, any 4-weight you do, but it does say 3 balls of each color, and each color has 200 yarn. So that's a lot of yarn. The finished measurements, there are actually 2 different sizes that you can make. That's the first time I've seen this in a magazine like this. So the first width you can do is 34 inches. The second width you can do is 42. And then as for length, you've got 51 inches and then 63 inches. That's kind of cool. This is literally just called Ripple Afghan. And again, that one you can see the texture on, so that's good. Skill level is intermediate. It is 32 inches wide and 51 inches long. And then I'm going to have to pause. I had to attend to something. Anyway, this is called the Black Ripple Afghan. I think this might be the one. Look at that. This is intermediate. And then it says the finished measurements are 44 inches wide, 69 inches long. It recommends a 4-weight medium yarn. And it says 19 ounces of blacks and then 13 ounces of assorted scrap colors. I think this is the one. Yeah. I could easily make it smaller if I wanted to, because it looks like it's done in panels. I could use whatever colors I wanted to. It doesn't have to be black. It could be brown. It could be teal. It could be beige. It's just a suggestion. And it's perfect for somebody like me who has a lot of different colors, but not a whole lot of every color. That one is definitely getting a sticker. Let's see, I think that might be the last one. Oh, nope. One more. Or a couple more, maybe. Okay, just one more. Ooh. It feels like there's 2 pages here. Oh, please, while I try to... Yep, there's 2 pages here. Ooh, so this is called Tweed Ripple Afghan. Very autumn. Now, again, it calls for skill level intermediate and medium worsted weight, but you're holding 2 strands together, and that's what makes those different colors. So this is only 2 colors, and then 90% of the blanket is, you've got the orange yarn and the black yarn, or the burgundy yarn. It says burgundy, but it looks orange to me. Held together, and you're crocheting with your large end weight hook. Size N, 10mm hook. That could also be a strong contender. Because again, between holding 2 yarns together and using that big of a hook, that would crochet up really quickly. It is right next to the other one, so I'm not going to bother with putting a sticker there. It does count for 32 ounces or 1,600 yards of each color. So that is going to be one where I'm going to need more of each color. Thankfully, I know that I've got at least 4 or 5 different colors in the big balls. So that's not a problem. That is definitely a strong contender. Ooh, this one looks interesting. This is called Harvest Reversible Ripple Afghan. Okay, let me show you the picture. She's holding it in a way that you can see that it is reversible. The skill level is intermediate. It calls for a 4-weight yarn. So like one side is just regular ripple. And then the other side is like a ripple, but it's got like dots. That's cool. That is really cool. Skill level intermediate. 3 skeins each of each color, which each one has 315 yards. And it makes a pretty big blanket. 52 inches wide by 56 inches long. Pattern notes. I love this. I love this. You ready? Pattern notes. Weave in loose ends as work progresses. How many of you are, and me too, guilty of leaving those loose ends until the last minute? So guilty. And that is it for this Crochet World Magazine. The magazine always takes me longer. I don't know why. But I've picked out 4 patterns from this to do. And maybe I might be doing 1 or 2 very soon, to be honest. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, especially if you're a subscriber. That way the evil YouTube overlords don't unsubscribe you from my channel against your will. Feel free to leave a comment down below. It helps my analytics, plus I genuinely enjoy hearing from you all. If you're not a subscriber yet, I have a lot of yarny content, and if that's your jibe, make sure you hit subscribe. Plus, you would do well to hit that notification bell. If you really like my channel and would like to help it grow, share this video with everyone you know. In the meantime, make what makes you merry. Ciao!